Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Wiki Comic Book Run. We've covered this week's Marvel books as well as an Image book, and now it's on to this week's Batman. Okay, technically yes, this week's Batman books, but this week's DC books. They're all Batman books. So yeah. Kicking things off, we've got Batgirls number 5. Where we left off, it was revealed that that Barbara's ex from her college days was actually the inspiring force behind Tudor, on using the name Spellbinder. So we begin. Oh, and the Saints had found the Batgirls and were going after them, which is where we pick up. The Saints are chasing down Cassandra and Stephanie. Stephanie moves to attack, and Babs rolls in to help out. Babs manages to hack their Robo-Dog. And yeah, the Saints are defeated, and Babs explains that Seer is actually manipulating them into thinking that they're taking orders from Simon Saint, and gives them proof, or irrefutable proof, that Simon Saint is dead. Also, the GCP is on their way to pick him up. So yeah. But Tudor once again is up to his old mind control tricks citywide. Babs has modified Fido to be part of basically part of the crew, and so it sends Fido out. But of course, where is Tudor located? Arkham. Yeah, he's in the remains of Arkham. Turns out that there's a lot of stuff that was never pulled, that was just left there, including a file including Tudor's file, showing that Charles Dante is in fact was his doctor. And the Batgirl trying to and Cassandra and Stephanie trying to get in touch with Barbara to let her know this while she's at Dante's house, and is promptly found by him. Cass and Steph split up. Cass heads to the roof where Grace O'Halloran has been brainwashed and is reporting on everything, and a massive swath of Gotham has also been brainwashed by Tudor, and well, yeah, they're coming to the asylum to take care of the Batgirls. Stephanie goes after Tudor. It's explained that the feeling that basically the throngs of brainwashed Gothamites converging on the asylum has strong zombie movie vibes. But Cassandra doesn't get it because she never watched a zombie movie, and it's further explained in exactly 3 weeks. She'll watch Night I Love You There for the first time, and she's going to love it. Back with Barbara. She faces Spellbinder, and Spellbinder knocks her out, and declares her as a sleeping muse to be the perfect subject for his next work. And that is where the issue ends. Honestly, I'm loving this book. I really am. It's every issue is just so much fun. I especially like the little things like bringing up the fact that because of the way she was raised, Cassandra never saw, really doesn't have anywhere near the points of reference for cultural reference that say Stephanie does. and that apparently 3 weeks after the issue takes place, she'll have watched Night of the Living Dead, and she's gonna love it. Moving on to our next book, though, we got I Am Batman, number 8. Where we left off, our mysterious Jace, Batman, Jace, had found a mysterious killer who claims to have been inspired by Batman. Jace tries to hits him a few times, but it doesn't seem to be, the pain doesn't seem to register with him. But the guy smacks the holy hell out of Jace, and Jace does the smart thing and runs. The next day, the mayor is doing a photo op about the black market firearms that the special crimes unit managed to seize on a tip from Batman. The commissioner leaves, pissed off, but about the mayor's plan. And Batman calls Chubb to tell her what's happened, including that, and he's mad that he ran away. He tells his father about what's going on, and his dad says, "Hey, the real, Gotham's Batman's done it before too. That happens." But apparently the killer was inspired by Jace, and has Jace questioning being his decision to become a new Batman. The commissioner gets kidnapped by our mysterious killer. And Jace learns that he's becoming a little out of touch with his family as well. Meanwhile, Jace's support crew, Vol, is meeting with their mutual friend Adia, and because both of them are concerned about Jace, but of course Vol's having to keep things kind of close to the vest. And then Vol goes to talk to Jace. Meanwhile, our commissioner is rather grotesquely murdered, but I do recall making some comments about comparing this character to Jigsaw from Saw. So yeah, but Jace gets a call. The commissioner's body's been found, and to make matters even more fun, a ton of message board and social media comments are being leaked on the internet, showing the commissioner to have had some, to have been racist, misogynist, and yeah, all around kind of a piece of shit. A law-abiding piece of shit, but still a piece of shit. The mayor, of course, is infuriated because the commissioner was his personal pick. Meanwhile, some of the officers in the NYPD decide they're going to avenge Commissioner Beckett and find the guy that did it and kill him. And that is where the issue ends. I'm definitely enjoying this the I Am Batman series. In fact, I've honestly just been enjoying all the stuff with Jace as Batman. from even the future state stuff, like from the beginning of last year, all of it, love it all. But so yeah, I like that they moved into, as much as I wanted him to become integrated with the Bat family at the same time. I'm glad that he moved to another city so that he could do his own thing in his own locale while the Bat family does their thing in Gotham. So, but yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Flashpoint Beyond #0. So, okay, Flashpoint. Barry Allen ran the Flash. Time traveled to save his mother. Did so, and turns out that doing so had a butterfly effect on the timeline. And he was now in a world where he never became the Flash, and everything was different. With the help of Batman, Thomas Wayne, he managed to set things right. However, the Reverse Flash extracted Thomas Wayne from the dying timeline. He became briefly a villain of Batman's. Then he joined Justice League Incarnate and was seemingly killed by Darkseid over the course of Infinite Frontier. Seemingly. So we begin. Batman is breaking into Time Master's hideout. With the aid of Mime and Marionette, lasting a Doomsday Clock. And apparently he's made a deal with them. And he is returning to his home reality. Directly in the aftermath of Flashpoint Batman Night of Vengeance, which saw the Joker, Martha Wayne, kidnapping the children of Judge Harvey Dent, Jim Gordon going to save them, and Jim killing one of the kids and being killed himself and being killed as well in the process. And when Thomas faces off with the Joker, his wife, Martha Wayne, he tells her that he's learned of another reality, where their son survived. And Martha asked, what he was like, and apparently Thomas says to her that he's just like his father. Her initial thought is that, oh, that means he's a doctor. But no, Bruce Wayne isn't a doctor. He's Batman. But, so yeah, Judge Dent is understandably pissed. Thomas goes to the graves of his wife and son. And the war between the Atlanteans and the Amazons is, of course, getting worse. People are questioning this Superman who was revealed during the finale of Flashpoint, and someone is in the cave that Bruce can't see, or that Thomas can't see, and has written on a chalkboard he has, so everything matters. But Thomas agrees, smashes the chalkboard, takes Joe Chill's gun. And he's got a plan. That plan is once again turning Barry Allen. Is trying to turn Barry Allen into the Flash. We get some. We get the hapless and always running late Barry Allen and the effects. Of the fact that he's always running late. But Thomas gives him a sedative and, kidnaps him. On top of Wayne Casino, he set up an electric chair with the necessary chemicals. However, Harpoon goes through the chemicals, making everything go wrong, leading to Barry being simply electrocuted. And Harvey Dent's car is destroyed in the chaos. Batman manages to pull Dent's son out of the vehicle before it explodes, but yeah. Batman then goes after whoever it was that stopped Batman. That stopped him from turning Barry into the Flash. Turns out they're mercenaries on the Atlantean payroll. And Thomas is trying to be more like the Batman his son is, but yeah. But it turns out that Dent brought his son along because, Dent was taking Dexter everywhere out of paranoia to make sure so nothing happened. An epilogue. An inmate at Arkham is saying that everything is upside down again, and that Bruce is supposed to be Batman. In the present, in the regular DC universe, our second epilogue, Bruce Wayne is visited by one of the Time Masters, Corky Baxter, claiming that Dr. Hunter will be awfully sore when he finds out that that Bruce broke into their lair, and because of that, Rip Hunter is going to get the Time Masters back together, and then he's going to have him change Batman's history. With Baxter adding that Batman opened up a can of worms, and Baxter the Time Masters are going to make him eat them. That is where the issue ends. Be continued in Flashpoint Beyond #1. It's an enjoyable issue. My only problem is just that, I don't know, the Flashpoint universe is just, the Flashpoint reality is just so bleak. And it's like, it didn't need to be brought back. But I'm guessing this is all a means of kind of building up to the upcoming Flash movie, if it actually does come out after recent events. But yeah, we'll see. Moving on to our next book, though, we got Batman Urban Legends, number 14. Of course, for multiple stories, starting off with Bound to Our Will with Batman and Zatanna. Batman and Zatanna had gone to a safe house, and John Constantine had shown up to help. However, our story's villains had also shown up and seemingly got rid of Constantine. So we get the origins of our two villains. One, Egypt, 2500 BCE. The other one, a nicer place and simpler time from another perspective. But Batman gets Zatanna out of the safe house and ends up in the in-between, which is also where Constantine is. So the shadow of Assyrium Brigantum in the in-between. Batman and Constantine discuss what's been going on. Zatanna is trying to utilize any form of technology, but yeah, it's not really working. And so she uses she's using her magic to try and figure out what's going to happen with Bruce, and gets some has some clarity about what's going on all together. Batman and Constantine up in the Doom Spectre of Rome during the time of Nero. Constantine is able to make it so that Batman can interact with the Shades. But Celeste and Eos are discussing what's happened, with Celeste explaining that while Zatanna is a formidable enemy, the rate at which her life force has been draining means that Z won't be able to interact with the physical world much longer. But Batman's able to see this conversation between the two, and that is where this part of the story ends. Which brings us to our second story, Batman and the Question in Right Answer, Wrong Question. Years ago, an early meeting between Batman and the Question. But he has a conspiracy. He has some theories about Bruce Wayne and wants Batman to help him look into them. They get into one of the distribution hubs for, and Batman discovers something disconcerting, though Question notes that it appears to be an active user on the building's network, Bruce Wayne. This leads to a brief fight between Batman and the Question, and afterwards, Batman reveals his identity to the Question. Leading Question was like, checks out. But Batman explains that the Question had the right answers. He was just asking the wrong questions. It's not about keeping secrets from him. The financial loopholes and missing red that he's been tracking, they are Batman's work, but the guards were taking advantage of them in ways he didn't anticipate. And so, Batman and the Question team up, take down the corrupt guards, and that's that. Though it turns out that the entire thing was all a ploy of questions to learn to learn the identity of Batman. And not only did he confirm that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he also now knows that Batman can be trusted. Next up, we've got a Birds of Prey story, Memory Lane. At the headquarters of Richard Rowe, Gotham's newest tech giant, he announces a new app, Memory Lane, which allows one to relive their fondest memories. Across town, Lady Shiva's brought together has gotten Katana to come to her, as well as Ghost and Molly Miracle, or Miracle Molly. Ghost was introduced. Whoa, I think it was in a previous issue of Urban Legends. Her and Batman kind of basically Batman helped to put her on a less criminal path, but still, still helping others and staying off the grid. So each of them has something to offer, and so the quartet work together, and they come to. The main thing is they are searching for a former inmate of Arkham, Noah Grove. He has face blindness, impeding his ability to recognize people's faces, including his own. He ended up being the youngest patient in Arkham's history. And so they manage to find where he's at. A cabin out in the woods outside of Gotham. But upon going inside, they seemingly find Noah, and they learn that the house they're in was a vacation home of none other than Amadeus Arkham. And that is where the issue ends, which brings us to the final story, Hounded, featuring Ace the Bat Hound. Where we left off here, the Russian Mafia had managed to capture Batman, and were planning to auction him off. Meanwhile, they'd also gotten Ace, who had managed to break free, and also released some other tortured experimented upon animals, and they were all working together to, But we begin, one of the higher-ups in the Russian mob is talking about a security guy at warehouse, and he, there's so many, he kind of begs the question, because Gotham used to be a port town, there are tons of docks, warehouses, and so, but you got the thing, if Gotham had been a commercial hub, if it hadn't been all these warehouses, would Gotham even have any crime? Or are all the villains and mob bosses a natural response to an environment which nurtures them? If it weren't for all those warehouses, would they even be there? Or are they just rats who live in a sewer? Meanwhile, inside the warehouse, we've got a who's who of Gotham criminals. Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, the Riddler, Clayface, Calendar Man, Bane, the Penguin, Mad Hatter, Killer Croc, Kite Man. Hell yeah. Meanwhile, the Ace and his allies are attempting to get away. The Ace has managed to find his utility vest. Ursa has a brief flashback. But and their super fast squirrels steals a slice of pizza for Ursa. But turns out that the fighters in the club upstairs, they're fighting off debt. They're fighting to pay off their debts. But the mob boss explains that when it comes to gambling, there's only one winner: the house. But the animal control people go after the pets, but even with sending out Lex Luthor, the pets might manage to at least somewhat get away, with one exception, as Ursa is tranked and loaded back into their van. But Ace and the others managed to remain free. One of the fighters has actually paid off his debt 3 times over, but he keeps borrowing more. Meanwhile, the pets have managed to at least potentially find a clue on where they might find their tormentors. Gotham Toxic Storage on 265 Den Drive, Little Leningrad, and that is where the issue ends. I especially like the Question story. Also, the Birds of Prey story looks like it'll be interesting. It's nice to see the return of Ghost, as well as the return of Miracle Molly. Especially seeing as how I honestly figured that Miracle Molly would probably never be seen again unless James Tynion IV started writing Batman again. But it's always nice to be proven wrong in a situation like this. Anyways, moving on to our next book, we got Batman 89, number 5. It seems like it's been a while since we had number 4, but no, yeah. I actually don't entirely remember where we left off, but Two-Face has a hideout, remember that much. And Batman had recruited Robin. So Two-Face is questioning a con about a job that was done, wanting to know every little bit of information, including asking about the Joker gang. But the guy explains there is no Joker gang. Joker's boys are mostly in jail or dead. There's a subculture of sociopathic punks who like to dress up and raise hell. Nihilists, anarchists, performance artists, good for distraction, and not much else. There's a group of professional criminal that uses the gear as a sort of camouflage. People see that clown face, they flinch. They don't notice much else. And so a bunch of these Joker types are brought to make their way to Clayface and are offered a job. Meanwhile, Barbara is also having issues with what's been happening in with Harvey, and her father comes to see her, explaining among other things that he's actually turned in resignation, effective Monday. And Batman and Robin are heading out, and when they're informed by Alfred of a tunnel collapse caused by 4 explosions in the Gotham subway. Furthermore, GCPD has been evacuated due to a potential gas main leak. But this is all just a ploy for Two-Face and his gang to get inside and steal some loot. Gordon goes to deal with it, turns on the bat signal. The bike is the bat cycle's called, and Batman saves Gordon by swinging him away from a gunman. It turns out that the gunmen weren't aiming, just firing into a crowd. Two-Face shoots Bullock, basically, and Gordon gets hit with a trank, and Batman is given a choice: he either fight Two-Face and save Gordon, or he can let Bullock bleed out. So Batman office to save Bullock, escaping in the process. Dent keeps on flipping the coin, hoping to comes up tails, so he has an excuse to shoot Gordon, but it keeps on coming up heads. But Harvey goes to speak to Barbara, who opts to arrest him, but Catwoman shows up and kind of causing it to go sideways. And Robin, it's suggested to her by to Robin by her that Robin follow Dent with the addition that she'll catch up. Back at Dent's hideout, he finally just shoots him. With Gordon saying, Two-Face shoots Gordon after Gordon says that perhaps Barbara's finally seen for what he really is, a spineless opportunist, no real sense of right and wrong, just a finger in the air to see which way the wind is blowing. And now he has his coin to tell him what he can and can't do, as if he's not responsible for his own choices. After Gordon's shot, he simply says to Dent that Barbara loves him. She'd forgive Dent anything. Find an excuse for what he done. But killing Gordon, that she'll never forgive him for. Which leads to Batman arriving at Dent's hideout. And that is where the issue ends. I'm enjoying the Batman 89 miniseries. I wouldn't have minded. I don't think I would have minded too much if this had been Batman 3 instead of Batman Forever. Well, I would prefer seeing that instead of Batman Forever, at least. Would have made for a better. I think that would have made for a better third Batman movie. Moving on to our next book, though, we've got Batman Catwoman number 11, the penultimate issue of the series. So, in the future, Huntress tried to bring in Catwoman, or bring her mother, but her mother was better than her. Selina, after all, is wanted for murder. She killed the Joker, after all. But Commissioner Grayson is talking with Helena about the whole thing, and Helena is being very just non-committal. Then we got in the past Batman chasing Riddler and Catwoman suggesting that he hide in a dumpster in exchange for, and she'll throw Batman off his trail in exchange for half the money. Then we have a meeting between Batman, Phantasm, and Catwoman. With Phantasm explaining that she knew she lost herself, and but she decided to try and go after Joker one last time, track him down to an old cabin, a safe house a few hundred miles from Gotham, and that was when she met her son. An interesting point is that when Huntress shows up at the back of the Batcave to talk to Commissioner Grayson, her Batmobile is the animated series Batmobile. But Helena incapacitates Dick and tells him to get out of her cave. Catwoman's distraction to spare Riddler was pushing him to Joker. It's Christmas Eve, but Joker throws a box at the two of them. Batman assumes it to be a bomb and uses his Kevlar-lined cape to protect himself and Catwoman, but no, it's just fruitcake. Apparently, Joker gets those two confused. But the implication is that somehow Phantasm's son is also the Joker's son. And Joker threw the baby in the air. Phantasm opted to, instead of catching the baby, or instead of killing Joker, caught the baby, allowing Joker to escape. Turns out that while Commissioner Grayson is trying to find Selina, he's on the right track. She's at the mansion, or she's at the manor. And apparently, there's a picture, looking at a picture from Halloween but Selina's looking at a picture of Bruce and Helena from Halloween when she was a child. Bruce dressed up as Clark, well, Superman, with a nod to the story from Tom King's Batman run, where Bruce and Selina go on a double date with Lois and Clark. But Bruce and Clark have to basically dress up as each other. But Selina tells Helena that she did a lot of things wrong, pretty much everything wrong, but there was one thing she did right. That was how she raised Helena. Then we get back in the past, Batman and Catwoman taking on Joker on Christmas Eve. And then back to the bit with Phantasm. Phantasm blaming herself for letting Joker go and decides that she's her own angel of death and turns her scythe gauntlet on herself. And that is where the issue ends. Very interesting. I hate to say it, the jumping back and forth is definitely a detriment to the series, to this book, in my opinion. I know. I realize when it gets collected, it will likely be collected in the order it was, with the stories being told in order as they're issue by issue, and not okay. Here's all this section. Here's all this section. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a same jumbled mess. It's not gonna be. This basically the book has not been an easy read. But anyway, it's still also, but well, it might not have been. Well, it hasn't been an easy read. It hasn't been a bad read either. So, yeah. One more issue. So, anyway, moving on to our last book for the week, we've got Future State Gotham, number 12. Where we left off, Peacekeeper Red, Jason Todd, and Batman, Jace Fox, were dealing with the next Joker. And Nightwing had apparently taken a very large amount of brain. So we begin with Talia wanting to know what's going on with Nightwing. The doctor she's got observing him is he has started talking, muttering half-coherent sentences, with instructions being made to record every word he says. Back with Batman and Peacekeeper Red, they're dealing with the next Joker. Both of them armored up. Jason suggests that Hunter Panic and Harley Quinn get Tobias Whale out of there. But Joker and Batman and Jason take on the next Joker. Joker tries to take over the suit of armor that Batman's wearing, but it's not connected to any networks. It's literally just armor. And as Harley leads Hunter Panic and Tobias Whale away from the fight, well, turns out she had her own. She wasn't doing this of her own on her own. She's working for Hush, who promptly kills Tobias Whale. But the armor that Red Hood is wearing, Peacekeeper Red is wearing, has a built-in EMP, which is utilized to take down Joker. Without his exo harness, he can't do anything. But Jason goes to see Hunter Panic in the hospital, and she's kind of thinking about quitting. But Jason's, well, hey, this next Joker's been is on his way to a special holding cell at Arkham Tower. This should be fine. Until he gets informed that the prison transport's been attacked. And yeah, the next Joker's freed by the old Joker. I gotta admit, that was a surprise. Even the silhouette, I thought it was going to try to be Punchline. I was not expecting it to be good old Mr. J himself. But that is where the issue ends. And that's to do it for this week's roundup. As well, first off, quick review. We're a year in on the Future State Gotham series, and I got two complaints. One, I'm not digging the black and white vibe. Sorry, it doesn't work for me. The other complaint is, while at first the backups were cool. Now the fact that they're basically just using shorts from previous, knowing they're using just reusing short stories from the various Batman black and white books, that's just cheap, and not in a good way. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.